Hello and welcome to Finish Your Business. In our podcast, we leave no business unfinished. I am your host, Namrata Sethi. This podcast is brought to you by MEGE, which is a joint project of Haga Helia University of Applied Sciences, Helsinki Business College, Aalto University, and The Shortcut, and is funded by Udiman Lito. Today, we have two guests joining us from NUCO, Gianluca and Eli. Thank you for joining us and welcome to our show.
You're welcome. Thanks.
Thank you.
If you could please introduce yourself.
Okay, can I start? My name is Eli Alkauri and I am a business advisor from Nuco Helsinki. I'm working here since 2006 as in the beginning was like a Helsinki region project for the immigrant entrepreneur, and I was there as a project manager. Now I'm a business advisor and I do advising for the immigrant, also for the Finnish. So I have four languages, but I'm strong in only three language: Finnish, English, and also Arabic. So the French language is like a support language for me. But anyhow, I have been here more than since 2006, more than 15 years, and a lot of business ideas and business visitors and startups and so on. That shortly in the beginning, so we can discuss later about my situation and how I work here. Thank you.
So my name is Luca, and originally from Florence, Italy, but I've been living more than 38 years in Finland, and I've been working in the corporate side, and I've been entrepreneur myself, and now I've been for a little bit more than 5 years in Nuco as a startup mentor and coacher. Uh, so this is more briefly about me.
Great. Thank you so much. What does entrepreneurship mean to you and why is it important?
Okay, that's a good question. Why it's important? First, I should mention, or I can say shortly, that I have been also entrepreneur from the since I came to Finland until 2006. So more than 16 years as entrepreneur, and even I finish it and I work as a regular salary employees, but it's still in my heart. That's why I have a side entrepreneur business beside of that job. So it's important because entrepreneur can bring a new idea, new opportunities, can help society. Without entrepreneurs, there is no any jobs, extra jobs. Even like entrepreneurs, like small, actually they can have at least two workers. Entrepreneur like sole trader himself plus the other support person for the bookkeeping, accounting, and extra if he can hire somebody as a B2B work. So it's very important, the entrepreneur in everywhere. It's not only in Finland.
Yeah, so basically, I pretty much agree what Elias said, that entrepreneurship it's something that they make jobs uh, or generate jobs, create jobs for people. They pay taxes, and they create new things, new ideas, new product. And that's why entrepreneurship it's very important to the society. And I was saying that basically there's been a shift in Finland and in many other countries in the world, that the entrepreneurship, let's say more and more, it's kind of micro or small companies, and not anymore this corporate. So basically, yeah.
Thank you so much. And how does Nuco help entrepreneurs? And what does Nuco do?
Well, actually, so we are basically divide, let's say, into groups. We have the people that are advising basically this kind of sole entrepreneurs that want to create or to establish, cafeteria or something like that, or just a shop. And then this is a new team basically in Newco regarding the advisory of startup, because the dynamics in the startups, and not only the dynamics but many things change from solo entrepreneurship and startups. And actually the startups phenomenon in Finland is very young, let's say, because it's almost 10 years old when basically Nokia disappeared from the Finnish economy and the Finnish let's say landscape. uh, More and more we see that new students, they create startups just because you know Nokia during the 90s and 2000, before Nokia disappeared. Nokia was basically the locomotive of everything in Finland for uh, and because Nokia disappeared very fast, and because in Finland we have one of the best school system in the world. So basically, these young students that graduated engineering or whatsoever, it wasn't anymore the industry, or let's say the corporate industry, uh, recruiting them. So after Nokia collapsed, basically we see a huge increment of startups, and because in the past, when we speak about the 1780s, in the Finnish industry was more diversified than not today. We had mechanical, metallurgical, we had forest, we had wood, we had a lot of things, but a lot of industries. But during Nokia period, basically all these industries disappeared from the Finnish industry landscape, because actually they couldn't pay the same salaries that Nokia was paying. So basically, during Nokia period in Finland, wood industry, paper industry, and many other industries closed or moved to other cheaper countries to manufacturers. And that's why when Nokia collapsed, we didn't have so much any other big industries or corporate recruiting them. So that's why, and so the startups, we 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 see that it's a phenomenon that is growing more and more, not only in Finland but everywhere.
Yes, that's a good what I'm agree 100% with Lukan. That's a good explanation about the situation in Finland and the history, how it changed and how it's moved. But actually, that's why we are exist Nuko Helsinki because of this situation. So that's why we have two group in Nuko Helsinki to help the new entrepreneurs, that new enterprises also. We have the business advisor group and we have the startup services, what from that Luca he's working there. So if the customers like in the normal situation want to start as a normal business and he need a normal business advisor, for example, if he's interested to establish a company or he need a help for developing his company, so in that point, he can use our business advisory services. But once we go for that startups, like who want to grow up and to be like globally, to start to sell a product or services to abroad. So then he go for startup services. So business, we have two access in that business Nuco Helsinki services. One is for the startup advisory. The second is for that business advisory. So that's why we are exist in Helsinki, and actually our for the immigrants we have the project which is especially for the immigrant in Nuko Helsinki for services. Our customers can come from all of the Helsinki region. It's not also from the Uusimaa, also sometimes come from Oulu. Somebody phone for me by Teams. We have a lot of facilities now we can use. We can give advising. So we for the immigrants we can have from all of Finland, also from abroad, people who want to come to Finland. There's a lot of challenges for the people who want to come to Finland. So that's why I think we in Yuko Helsinki it's important now for the it's not only for Helsinki, it's also for all Finland.
That's great. Thank you so much.
You-
And at
you're
what
welcome.
stage can the entrepreneurs come to you?
It can come from -0 also with an idea also. Some peoples they come only they want to write a business plan. Some students, for example, we have a lot of networking with the university, with any kind of that businesses like Hagahelia, or a lot of students they come only to check about the business idea itself, to build how they can build the future for them business, how they can do the calculation. So we have a lot of kind of groups, so they can come -0, especially for startup. I know that Luca he has a lot of customers that they are still in the first step, like minus maybe two zero. So that's I think we have, and we are very important. I think that the Nuco Helsinki is important for the startup businesses. Yeah, yeah. Actually, we have more than 4,000 customers per year, more than 1,200 new entrepreneur, new businesses in Helsinki. What about those who come from somewhere else to Helsinki? So we do, I think, like we do a lot of job, and we will go to do more, I think. Yeah.
So yes, like Elia say that basically typically, let's say that the young entrepreneur, especially because they don't have so much experience in running the business, financing and reporting and drafting, business plans, financial plans, marketing plans, all these kind of things. But most typically, these young students, they just already, even during the school, they group on and they decide to start to develop an idea, and then they graduate it, and they decide to establish company. So they come to us, and basically we help from the very beginning, from the scratch, when actually the team group up, and they start to formulate all these shareholder agreements. Then we establish the company, then we decide how to proceed, and basically, step by step we build the company until they got the first fund. We help them with all this application with Business Finland and other organization. We try to network them with the ecosystem in the Helsinki area, and but also we help, as Elia say, that help a company that want to come to Finland and establish the company in Finland and start uh, to export their services and product to Europe and other countries. So basically, we have a very lot of diversified services that we can offer to the company and to the teams from any stage, basically, and from any kind of let's say any kind of entrepreneurship type.
That's great. And what makes the Helsinki region an especially good place for starting a business?
Of course, we can say Helsinki because we are in Helsinki. Anyhow, it depends on the business idea, what and how you offer and what kind of product. Nowadays, that online businesses, they are, you don't need any location, especially Helsinki. You can sell product abroad, around the world. So things have been changed. It's not like normal as before. But of course, I can say Helsinki.
So let's say that regarding the or let's say many studies that has been done uh, in Europe, for example, and around the world. So basically, the Helsinki area has been classified one of the most attractive and vibrant startup ecosystem, and this is maybe one reason why many company wants to come to Finland. And then, of course, because Finland as a country, it's a very stable country. Everything is working. You know, we don't have very big trouble with infrastructures or whatsoever. And nevertheless, Finland it's pretty advanced in many sector, health sector, smart city, renewable energy, and uh, so I think that that's the reason why Finland and Helsinki area it's so important and it's so attractive.
Yeah, and also I think there is such a strong ecosystem, like for people if
Yeah,
you start the
yeah, exactly.
business, and there, like you have, there are so many advisors, and they really get this
Yes.
aid when you're getting started to have your business.
Exactly.
That's right.
And what trends are you seeing in new businesses coming up to Nuco? Like what kinds of new businesses are you seeing, like international or tech or industries?
Well, from my side, if we speak about startups, so actually in Finland there are few sector that have been growing pretty much. So the technology, because Finland, let's say that has been always a very technology-oriented country. If we think about Nokia time when Finland was the first country in the world issuing patents. Um, so basically, the tech side is very important. And then regarding the sectors, health sector has been growing pretty much. And then actually last year, the city of Helsinki, within together with the University of Helsinki and the Hospital of Helsinki, they established a health incubator uh, center where we actually we help and we coach and mentor health sector companies, and uh, and this is located in Terko, where it's actually pretty close to the Helsinki hospital. Uh, then, as was saying that renewable energy has been also a kind of sector where many startups they focus, because now today we are speaking a lot of renewable energy, how to save the world, and this kind of climatic change. So this has been a sector also. Regarding the smart city, as I say, that Helsinki, and not only Helsinki, but Finland has been always one of the most advanced countries opening all this database and make possible to use the database to offer citizens different kind of services and more fluent and more you know, easy to use, and this is also a sector where we see a lot of increment. But let's say that, and then of course games, games. It's something that we cannot forget because games has been always also a kind of sector where Helsinki and especially Finland has been always uh, very very advanced in that sector. Uh, but yes, technology it's very important, and all around technology, has been developing different kind of services. The only thing that I see the switch from hardware to software. If in the past in Finland uh, was developing more kind of hardware product. Today we see more and more software product. So everything what is related uh, to these sectors more and more is software based and not anymore so much hardware.
Good. So from my that business advisory services, as I mentioned in the beginning, we have more than 1,200 new companies established through Newco Helsinki. So the situation is not similar as before. Like nowadays, we have a 40% of our customers, they are immigrants. You have to take this point of view. So before used to be like a lot, they say, yes, immigrant, they establish a restaurant, they go for the cleaning companies. Those I don't say that it's not good, but anyhow, situation have been changed. Now immigrant also they establish like a tech company, IT companies. They can go globally. They have like networking. They
Yep.
we need to start to use them situation. But the point is, let's say like cleaning company. Now we have the cleaning company with technology with a lot of that services like can be not as regular cleaning, it's something more than regular cleaning. So that's why now the situation it's not
Mm.
like before. We have all kind of customers, all kind of companies, also immigrant, they establish all kind of businesses. It's not like only that sector it's for them and this sector for the other. So I see like in immigrant in Finland, they are in good situation. Also, I got yesterday, last week Friday, a group from university, like from Metropolis, and they are Finnish, but they have a good idea. They are young. They have a good techno business idea, and they are in the first step. And the when they graduate, I wish like they can go in that business. So so all kind of businesses now it can be here in Finland. It's not only like regular business idea.
Yeah, what Elia say is very important because actually many students from abroad come to Finland to study, and once they arrive here, then they realize that hey, this is not so bad like people make understand. That Finland, even there is cold and there is many many things, but actually Finland offer uh, many many good things. Let's say. For young people, and many they come to Finland to study, and then they remain in Finland and they start to establish companies, any kind of companies. Yeah,
I think even the approach that universities take, it's more hands-on learning, and they have so many like practical courses and which
exactly.
really motivate the students. And
Yes,
maybe if they have any idea, they definitely support a lot to go ahead
Yeah,
to start their own
yeah.
business. And it's a
exactly.
very safe environment also, I feel, to have like a test market.
Right, right.
What kind of pitfalls and challenges are there in the early stages when you're starting a business? like maybe product market or regulatory, financing, or even finding like co founders?
So there is a lot of challenges for the first step when the new entrepreneur they want to start a business. Actually, everywhere. It's first the capital, arranging the financing. The second is the, of course, marketing, product itself, how they can build the product, and there is many other small steps. Opening a bank account nowadays it's a challenge for the new startup and the new businesses. There is a lot of the challenges.
So the challenges, well, as I say, that the first challenge is that from my side, the startup phenomenon is very young in Finland. We can say that 10, little bit more than 10 years. When you compare in Silicon Valley, already in the 70s, were established the first startups that then become monsters in the industry, like Apple, Microsoft, Intel, and so forth and so forth. Uh, so that's it's already a challenge because people don't know or they don't understand how to run startups, how to what does it implement, be a startupper. And but yes, financing, I think it's one of the most important thing because people think that raise money for a startup is very easy. Well, one friend of mine say that when your startup is fundable, then it's very easy to raise money. But if your startup is not fundable, it's almost close to impossible to raise money. So what does it mean a company fundable? The teams has to be very skilled teams. The product, the fit to market has to be there. Uh, the demand and these are the things that make a company fundable. So when actually you do something that actually people want to buy and are willing to pay for something, then there is no problem to raise money. Uh, the big difference in Finland and for U.S. market, for example, it's that if you can prove to investors that your team is able to deliver and the the market segment it's quite big. We are speaking about billions. Then of course, then in US they say that okay, here is the money, do it. When in Finland, when you approach an investor and you say that I have this idea, so forth and so forth, the Finnish investors say, okay, come back to me when you have something to show to me. Like traction, like revenues, like turnover, like customers, like whatever can make the company credible that they can deliver actually what they are doing. And so yeah, but of course during the time also things has changed in Finland. Now we have the Finnish business angel uh, organization that is also very young, and we have few venture capital, and but unfortunately the statistics are not very good for the Finnish startup ecosystem, because actually the statistics say that 90 over 95% of the startups in Finland die in the first 2 years of life. So that's there is many reason. Finnish market is so small, then a startup has to go international in a very early stage, and this uh, require capital investment. When you compare these figures to European startups, uh, let's say that the European startups life it's 4 years before they die, just because because the internal market, they are bigger, and they can do or they can grow actually first within the internal market. So let's say that this what we call debt valley, where actually the company it's in a kind of phase where actually they need capital to go to the break even. In Finland is 2 years, and in Europe is 4 years. So actually company, they have more time to be there before they die and try to get to the break even.
That's very important point what Lukan he mentioned about the years, how many years in Finland for the startup until they start to run. I think there is a challenge. This is that the work capital. If the work capital is not enough for actually 2-3 years, they can die before that reach the break even. But in Europe, they have a different work capital system, and they have different, like bank, for example, bank loan or support or easy money, like let's say like that. Business angels, they are, as Lukan he mentioned, USA, they are different mentality than in Finland. This is the most important. But if we go for this is for startup. But if we go for the advisory, like regular businesses, what they are started in Finland, for example, in Newco Helsinki, our customers, after 5 years, they are still 80% our customers alive. This is the high point. Why? Because they use our services. They contact us every time. We follow them also. We send for them emails. Hey, we have that courses, that events. Can you join with that and so on? So there is a services. We follow them. We walk with them. This is that they can stay alive after 5 years. 80%. If we go for the normal rate in Finland, it's 40% after the 5 years. That normal. So we have that two balances, the two things in our Newco Helsinki. I agree 100% with Lukan that here we have different for that money mentality, building the work capital. In Finland, it's absolutely different than USA and middle of Europe.
But actually, this is our role, that we are mentoring and coaching startup in that sense, that basically it's like, we take them hand by hand, and we try to make them understand, to avoid the most critical reason why startup fails in Finland. So basically, I think this is a very good results about our job that we do.
Yeah, I'm sure. Yes. All right. This brings us to the last question. What advice would you give to an entrepreneur in 5 words?
Hmm. 5 words are not so many. I would say that don't give up.
That's good for startups. Don't give up. But for also regular businesses, usually we used to give, for example, location. It's important. Nowadays, location is online also. Be online. Yeah.
All right. Thank you so much for joining us and providing us these wonderful insights on this topic. And thank you for joining the show.
You're welcome.
You're welcome.
Thanks for